we'll go through all the things. Great to have everybody here. Someone will keep letting people in as it's going. If no one's got that read.ai, we'll kick it out just in case someone got the link or if it was sort of scanning. But hopefully it doesn't hurt your feelings. All right, let me open up this.
But as business owners, we're not allowed to have feelings.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. No, this one here. Okay, here we go. All right, welcome. So I've renamed it to Entrepreneur Mastermind. That's just something that you guys might have seen it on the WhatsApp channel. I've got a school channel started. It's just going to be called Entrepreneur Mastermind. I need to stand out a little bit from the regular business mastermind groups that are out there. And so that's why it's called that. And entrepreneurial mindset is a good thing to have as well. Let's go through the agreements as per usual. Be curious. Default, be curious. It's a great way to live your life this way. Be respectful and be succinct. So be respectful. We want to challenge each other's thinking though. So if something shows up that we're like, maybe, maybe not, ask, right? Be curious. Go, hey, what do you mean by that? Don't just assume that you kind of know. But be succinct, get to the point. We're all business owners in the room and our time is valuable. I would say if we did the net assessment of the dollar per hour wage in the room right now, it would be through the roof. So that's the point of that. I'll show up to each session. You guys have been really great with this. I know a bunch of people are away, but they messaged me, which was very kind. Keep your video on is preferred. So we can see and actually interact with you. That's one of the points. AI is fine. If you have an AI that you want to record on, etc., no problem. As long as you're in the room and so you'll get that. And if you can advise or whatever, raise your hand, connect, do that whole thing. Okay, so how does it work? We're gonna allow a few people to kind of introduce themselves and say hello. We'll do our topic overview. Today it's about the story. We're not gonna do a case study today. We'll do a topic again. We'll have some open questions, closing takeaways, and then talk about the next mastermind date. All right, so we've got a few lovely faces in the room here that we want to introduce and say hello to. Basically your name, what role you play, what your business is, recent success in your business, what your most pressing challenges or a challenge that you're willing to share. And then you can put your contact name in the chat. So Mo, welcome. Why don't you hit us off with that context?
Yeah, thanks, Edwin. My name is Mohammed. I'm a managing director at Skyrise Restoration. I previously come from a tech background, and just about a year and a half ago, I made the switch from tech to trades and restoration. I was a partner in this company for a while, and I saw an opportunity and jumped on it. Recent win in a business. It feels like almost every day is a win, almost every week is a win. I would say we recently closed a approximately 10 times our revenue in the last month. So we've been growing and not being
Nice.
able to keep up, which is the challenge is scaling the operational capacity to match the amount of sales we're getting in. And we're kind of been stuck on work project to project and not being able to catch our breath to hire more people or to scale the business. I'll put my contact information in the chat.
Beautiful. Awesome, man. 10x. That's like
Roughly
phenomenal.
speaking, it's
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
like
for sure.
somewhere between 9 and 11, I'd say.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
yeah, it's yeah.
We can round into the 9x, 10x, 11x window. I think we'll be okay with that. Perry, I know you're at the shop, but if you have an opportunity to introduce, that would be cool.
Yep. I'm Perry Lam, owner of Private Rental in Vancouver's Chinatown. Men's, we kind of classify as heritage denim and whatnot. So we bring in quite a bit of denim from Japan, a couple lines from the US. I know that's not very sought after right now, and a couple from Europe. So that is us in a nutshell. We are 3 years, just past our 3 year mark now, so still finding our foothold. And yeah, challenging. It's yeah, obviously we just kind of opened up during COVID, so it's sort of been a challenge. It's like an uphill battle, but same time, I think at this point, that's all I really know is just kind of battle through it anyway. So that's the good challenge there. success, I guess last month was pretty shitty. We've seen quite a bit of growth this month, but again, we're not really a fall or a summer store. So yeah, I think that's sort of everything in a nutshell.
Yeah, wicked. And if you ever see Perry walking around, he looks like $1 million. So it's like the brand is awesome, dude. It's really great. So I gotta come down and see it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, great. And Louis, why don't you hit us up? Mr. Valdez.
Hello, everyone. I love to see familiar faces over here. My name is Luis. I'm a painter contractor. I am co-founder of Luau Painting, and I just started my business. I have a painting background, but I just started my business this year after brain surgery. And one of my winners is I am hitting my every month goal for the income. And challenge is to get busy to do those workflow to get my goal into the income. And yeah, so it's the work we do. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Yeah, you know what? Like Louis, I would say that your biggest success with that massive medical win for you is just such a great thing, man. I'm super stoked that all worked out so well. Yeah, really, really great. Okay, fantastic. So let's continue to roll. Here's a quote. This is by Alan Wise. He's an author and public speaker. He was also my coach for a while. He wrote the book $1 Million Consulting. I've done a few different workshops with him. And I had coaching calls with him all throughout. When was that? 2023 primarily, I think. Yeah. So he's quite a character. So logic makes you think, emotion makes you act. So we're pretty logical as business owners. And what happens is that we kind of sometimes lose the emotional connection to actually what our audience is looking at. And so when we tend to introduce our businesses to each other, at networking events, to potential clients, we're probably pretty boring. We think we sound awesome, but the odds of that actually being true are pretty low, unless you've done the work to ensure that that's actually what's happening. And so what happens is that you've lost people in the first 4 seconds of your introduction. So I'm going to tell you a quick story here about, so I was at the 5-year anniversary for Distillery VFX. It was a really great event. And people all over the place. Some of you were at the workshop the beginning of this year, so you know what that space looks like. And so like there was a big barbecue happening on the roof, and like there was this massive charcuterie board down in the kitchen, and the mid floors, there's a different beer on every level, et cetera, et cetera. It was really, really cool. So I'm sitting there, and I was in the Scotch bar, and there's a couple of executives there who I didn't know who they were, and they were like, "Oh, you know, are you part of the company? How are you affiliated, et cetera, et cetera." And I was about to say, "Well, I'm like the executive coach, right?" And Matt, the CEO, overheard, and he jumps over from the conversation he was having a few feet away, and he goes, "Edwin draws triangles." And the two executives just started laughing, right? And they're like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, he draws these awesome triangles. We're super confused. He draws a triangle. We have massive clarity. We get wins." And so I'm like, dude, that's going to be how I introduce myself at all major events from now on. People are going to be like, because what do I normally say, right? I develop leaders. I work with businesses, et cetera, et cetera. You tell someone, "Hey, what do you do?" And you say, "I draw triangles." There's a hook. It's going to be way, way better. So if you're ever with me at a networking event and I say I draw triangles, you're going to know where that comes from. Okay, so let's take a look. I'm going to jump around here a little bit on what I'm going to share with you guys. Let me know if this shows up. It should show up. Yes. Okay. I'm just going to move this to a different screen here. Can you guys still see it? I may have lost it. 1 second. I'm going to reshare it just because I need to be able to see it at the same time. And that did not let me do that. Okay, there it is. Okay, so this is like basic funnel 101 on how businesses operate. Now, some of you may have a slightly different funnel, like you may be very RFP focused, right? Where like you get a request for a proposal and this is how it goes. But for majority of you in the room, and if that is different for you, let me know. You have this marketing at the start of the funnel. So this is like your wide audience, right? So this is your audience over here. And that audience is paying attention to who you are as a brand, where are you, et cetera, et cetera. So that's fundamentally what you're reaching out to. Now, you're going to have your own audience pyramid, like, or triangle if I want to stay on brand. You're going to have your own audience in that. And like, you're going to have like, so your key ready to buy people. Beneath that, you have the sort of on the fence people. And below that, you have the larger audience who don't know they need you. They just kind of know what they want and they may not know what's happening, right? Inside this area over here, you have a call to action. Oops, I spelled that backwards. Not a cat, you have a CTA. You have a call to action. So this is what the audience needs to do. Do they need to show up at your store? Do they need to click a link? Do they need to? What happens is that we have an audience, and when we're talking about our story, we try to get our audience from here to here right away. Massive mistake because they're cold. Now maybe it's a warm referral, in which case that might be easier to do. But your call to action might be initial meeting. Your call to action might be click my website. Your call to action might be set up a calendar appointment. Your call to action might be download this form, fill out a survey. Who knows? In many cases, that call to action is just click a link. And so what happens is if the simplicity of the call to action is click a link. So you've got a painting business and you want someone to look at that ad or look at that post and go, I got a painting business. I want to get my house painted. Lewis, can you come paint my house? It's not going to happen. So what you want to do is you want them to just click enough. That's it. You got to get it from here to here is your primary goal. From here, you have sales, and sales is all about conversion. So now you actually have a sales call, right? All this other stuff has happened in between. I'm skipping a lot of steps here, okay? Because I'm going to focus on the first part for the storytelling. You have your sales conversion. This is what Mo was talking about. You have your operations. The customer is now moving through your operation structure, whatever that looks like. This has to be as fluid as possible. If your operations is all herky-jerky, you're going to have problems. And then you have fulfillment, okay? And this is the actual sale transfer. Over here, they have a lasting value impact. That's fundamentally what you're looking at. So if you're doing the jump to go from audience to sales transfer, you're in trouble, where they actually are engaging with the product service right out of the gate. So you have to know what your call to action is. And then, what's your sales cycle look like, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, operations is like massive, right? This is a huge thing over here. Your fulfillment is massive. Do you have capacity? Blah, 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 on and on and on. Okay. But we're going to be focused on that. And we're going to be focused on that from the perspective of what does your story look like? So let's go back to this over here. Okay, the elevator pitch. For those of you who are at my business workshop at the beginning of the year, you know that we did a little bit of this. And fundamentally, we were looking at 4 things in a proper elevator pitch. Now, this is how most people pitch when someone says, what do you do? They say, I paint houses. They say, I make video games. They say, I sell jeans. They say, I do HVAC install. They say, I do restaurant consulting. Okay, so those are a bunch of you guys in the room here right now. I do social media marketing, right? So That's fundamentally how most people introduce it. You boring. Great. So if you went to a coffee convention and you asked a whole bunch of coffee owners, what do? Is everyone going to introduce themselves with "we make coffee"? It's like it'd be the worst convention on the planet. You go to a music producers convention and event. Like, what do you do? I produce music. What do you do? I produce music. It's like, it's all Spider-Man. It's all just pointing at each other, right? So it's like this whole idea of, can we be a little bit more engaging with this? I'll put a couple of you guys on the spot. Does anyone remember the 4 steps of the proper pitch? There was 4 steps in there. There's a number of you in the room who are at that event. Does anyone remember the 4 steps of the proper pitch? I'm going to share it with you in a moment. Okay, so here we go. Here's the 4 steps. Step number 1, write this down. The problem. Step number 2 is the solution. Step number 3 is the unique differentiator. Step number 4 is proof of concept. This is effectively 4 to 6 sentences. So this is what an elevator pitch could sound like. The problem we see that frustrates people is ... We solve this problem by ... What makes us unique is ... For example, we did X for customer Y, creating lasting impact. Okay, so what could this potentially sound like? Someone give me a type of business and I'll riff off of it.
Ice cream.
Ice cream.
Store.
Okay, ice cream store. Perfect. The problem we see is when people are walking around on the boardwalk, they're frustrated because they want something to cool them down and some sort of thing to enjoy while they're having conversation with their family. We solve this problem because we have artisan ice cream on the boardwalk before they head out for their walk. What makes us unique is that we have an old-timey feel. And for example, we did 150 customers in the first 3 hours of the first sunny day by creating this really great event and having a feature flavor of the week. You could ask that same person, what do you do? They'd be like, I own an ice cream shop. It's like, wah, wah. Okay, like total fail. No story, no emotion, nothing else behind there. So these are the props. The problem we see is this. So the problem we see is that homeowners are too hot in the summer, too cold in the winter. We solve this problem by installing air handling systems, AC units, and proper heat pumps. What makes us unique is that we really focus on the North Shore. For example, we did 45 homes for high-value customers with aging properties who can now live in comfort over the summer and winter months. The goal is, cool, man, how long have you been doing that for? Or tell me more. It's a story. It's not just facts. You have to tell the story. Who wants to give it a shot? Someone step up to bat. The problem I see is I solve this problem by what makes us unique is, for example, proof of concept. Yeah.
I don't know how to read my, but I'm in.
Let's go, Alex. Hit it.
Good. The problem is that we treat mental and physical health separately. We need to take a holistic approach. what makes us unique is that we combine clinical counseling with personal training and lifestyle nutrition coaching. For example, there are people who are coming in for bipolar disorder that want to improve their physical health and get their mind and bodies to actually synchronize, and it can improve their symptoms. Well, the last part
Yeah.
could be better.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. It's on the spot, right? Put you on the spot. Really well done. Everyone give Alex a clap. Okay, well done. The only one that I saw was that you mixed up your problem and your solution together. So,
Okay.
so that would be, I solved the problem by working holistically. You kind of made it as though we need holistic, but we don't have it, which is more on the problem side. So really, really subtle, but that would be one thing. Anyone else want to step up to bat? Really well done, Alex.
I can
Nice.
try it.
Yeah, go ahead.
So there's too many people in Metro Vancouver that own property that don't have the time or knowledge to manage it. Solution, we have a team of licensed professionals with institutional level knowledge on how to manage your property. Unique difference is that we work on a team system, not a portfolio system. So you have a whole team to take care of your one property instead of somebody else getting too busy and dropping you down on the priority list when you get too many difficulties with the property. Proof of concept, we've rented 137 homes the last 12 months, and we have a 4.6 Google rating over 160 or 760 reviews.
Great. Very well done. Nice job, Keaton, stepping up to bat. Yeah, really good. Okay, so this is how you ought to be introducing your business. Just start doing it. Write that script, start doing it. It's going to make a really, really big difference. You know, I can make up a elevator pitch for every single one of you in the room. But when you do it for yourself, it gets hard. You guys could probably write one for me. When I do it myself, it gets hard. So this is where you can collaborate with each other a little bit, right? We've got the WhatsApp group. I've got the community starting on school. Like, this is where we can have those conversations, start like filling up this idea of like, hey, you know what? You know, Alex calls up Guy, can I run this past you? Right? Ashley calls up Avril. She's like, Avril, what do you think of this? Avril's like, that sucks. She's like, okay, try harder. And then Ashley goes back and comes back 3 days later and says, what about this? She's like, yeah, that's way better. It's like iterations, right? Don't be afraid to fail hard in the beginning and see what lands. Like, if you like, have two in your back pocket, your next networking event. See, that group seemed interested. That group with A, that group seemed not interested in B. Okay, let me try B a couple of more times. Oh, low interest. Let me try A a couple more times. Better interest. See what latches on there. You got to test it. Now, if you're like, well, I don't talk to enough people to test it, that's a problem. So it's like, go talk to more people. It's like really, really simple. You know, it's like, oh, I don't talk to enough people, or I don't have enough audience to test this out. Okay, well, maybe go change that. Because I think that would be an important thing to have happen. Okay, so elevator pitch, part one. Let's see. Somebody read off this quote.
A great salesperson knows how to tell a story in which the product is the hero. Peter Gruber, Chairman and CEO of Mandalay Entertainment.
Yeah, fantastic. So what does that mean? What's a hero's journey? Like what does a hero do in a story? Saves the day, yeah. The hero saves the day. So it's like, if you can make your product save the day, then you also, by default, have to figure out what day am I saving, right? Like, that would be an important thing. Like, what does your product actually solve? And being very, very clear about what that is. So that brings us to this idea of a pitch deck. So you can have a pitch deck or the equivalent of a pitch deck Maybe it's a sell sheet. Maybe it's a PDF that goes out with quotes. Maybe it's something you're doing for capital raise. Maybe it's a segment of your website. Maybe your pitch deck you've been using your social media as a pitch deck. Like we have a lot of avenues for pitch deck these days. They're not just the traditional, let me show you my slides format anymore. Is it a PDF? Do you have a pitch deck, or do you have the equivalent of a pitch deck? If not, what is your audience engaging with when you're not around? Right? It's a really important question. So, and then is the pitch deck used to sell, or is it being used as a different mechanism? This is a key question for you guys to ask yourselves. Pitch deck is way underutilized. Here's the other benefit of a pitch deck. I've got a whole pitch deck worksheet, but when you're figuring out what to do in a pitch deck, and I'm going to give you some context here as well. You're going to be solving problems in your pitch deck by creating it. So, your pitch deck is going to cover everything from the problem you have, the product or service you do, what your business model looks like, what the team is that produces it, et cetera, et cetera. It's like a breakdown of all these things, who your market is, what that competition cycle looks like, what sort of timeline and fulfillment cycle you have, what your financial demands are, if it's being used for capital raise, on and on and on. Okay, so there's a lot of different uses for it and a lot of different ways to form it. But let's say that you want to get some investment capital to expand. Okay, well, you might need a pitch deck. We'll go through some of this in a moment here as well. Let's go one more quote here. Who wants to hit that quote?
I can read it.
Yeah, go ahead.
People think in stories, not statistics, and marketers need to be master storytellers. Ariana Huffington, founder of the Huffington Post.
Yeah. So we're always talking KPI, stats, operations, sales, average sale value, conversion ratios, labor capacity, percentage of COGS, overhead, below line COGS, blah, 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 blah. Okay. We get into these really awesome geeky conversations as business owners about all this sorts of stuff. And then what happens is we're there living that hour after hour after hour. And then we pivot to the audience, the customer who has not bought from us yet. And guess what we talk about? Same thing. So, it's one of the reasons why really big companies keep their sales team separate from production. We've talked about that before. It's because sales cannot be restricted by capacity management. You end up with all these problems that are going on. Okay. So when we're looking at a pitch deck, part one of pitch deck, we're looking at problem, solution, timing. Okay. So again, take some notes here. Your problem fundamentally is what's the customer's pain point. How many of you done a deep dive into your customer's pain point recently? Like actual deep dive into the customer pain point. Like what is their problem?
Like a customer or our customer?
Your customer.
Right.
Right. And does your team know what that is as well? Okay. Second one is solution. We talked about that a little bit, but this is the deeper dive because your pitch deck has to go deeper. What value do you deliver that fixes the problem or meets the needs? And here's the key words: that improves the customer's condition. How are they better with your business than without it? How am I better with a magic bullet than without a magic bullet? Like it's got to meet that need. Now there's a whole deeper dive into the want versus need thing. right? Customer comes to you, this is what I want. You're like, okay, I get that's what you want, but here's actually what you need. We probably all do that a million times when we're doing customer conversion. And so understanding want versus need cycle is something that happens in your sales conversion, but your marketing story has to start with the want. There might be a whole bunch of other needs in there, which are value adds on the other side. Slightly different topic, but or a deeper dive or a drill down into that area. So problem, solution, money. How do you get paid? Like what does that actually look like? And then why now? So why does the customer need you now? Like you may have something out there that they kind of want. They may have a pain point, but why now? And that's a really important distinction, because if you don't know why now, your lead time or your conversion cycle is going to get super delayed. Like if I walk into Perry's store, why am I walking in now? Am I just happen to be walking by? Or am I interested in a specific product? Did something about it capture me? His call to action is open the front door. That's the call to action. Don't keep walking down the street, open the front door. I mean, if retail didn't need that, there would never be a window display. So the call to action is open the door. What's your call to action? Why now? Why should they open that door at that moment? And so you have to be able to do that. Okay, so there's a thing called the narrative deck. And the narrative deck is the deck that you're not presenting. You're not sending as a PDF. It's kind of tied to the pitch deck, but you talk about it further. So someone has shown interest, you're at an event, someone has shown interest, and now you're kind of talking about your business, okay? Few things straight out of the gate. One, be yourself. Do not change your persona in that moment. Whether it's over a Zoom call, initial networking, don't suddenly speak in a different tone. It's like it's really jarring. I had someone do that to me at a conference, and it was quite jarring. Like it was like, yeah, cool, right on. I'm excited for this, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So what do you do? Oh, this is what we do. Oh, that's really interesting. Tell me a bit more about that. Well, according to, and it was like an immediate shift. I was like, wow, this person rehearsed. Rehearse, but don't not be yourself. Second one is be compelling. If you're naturally boring, find some way to become more compelling. And I'm not talking about, changing exactly who you are, but just start using better language or figure out something that's going to hook them if you don't naturally have that ability to kind of riff. But stay within your personality and be relaxed, be confident. Now, being relaxed and confident is one thing, but you have to have a sense of urgency that doesn't come across as nervousness either. So there's this idea of like, okay, I'm talking about my business. Oh, I'm going to relax and slow it down a little bit. But now it's like this person's like, am I trapped here? Like, have I hit the never-ending story swamp? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, this is going to be dangerous for me. The other one is don't fake it. So role modeling is good. If there's someone who you see that you're like, I like their delivery style, role model, but don't mimic. Right? Anyone remember what's her name? Catherine Holmes. She tried to really mimic Steve Jobs.
The blood thing?
Yeah.
She's back apparently, but yes.
She's back? No, I thought she went to jail forever.
No, she's back.
Okay. Anyway, she tried to mimic Steve Jobs. One person did successful despite a sick illness, and the other one went to jail. Right. So it's like don't mimic, but definitely role model. Okay, so when are you going to use your pitch deck? First of all, be prepared. Be prepared. Can you talk about your business confidently? In a compelling, non-boring, pain point, oriented, problem oriented, solution finding, interesting thing. Can you tell people you draw triangles, whatever that means? Okay, to create the hook. You can use it when recruiting. If you're having problems recruiting and you're able to confidently talk about your business relative to the pitch deck and you get into a deeper conversation, especially for high level people. Regular employees, that might be a thing, but if you're looking for leadership don't want to talk about a business that's not at a high level. Friends and family, great way to practice. You got some friends, you start talking about your business and you start talking about them to friends, to family, and have that sort of thing. Are you going to a wedding? Are you going to a birthday? Practice your pitch deck beforehand. People are like, oh, what have you been up to? Well, let me tell you, right? As opposed to, same old, oh, lost opportunity, man. Okay. Capital raise, whether with banks or private investors. I know some of you guys are looking at, what am I going to do to scale to the next business, to the next level? Maybe it's a new partnership. Maybe there's an acquisition. Maybe there's a merger. And downstream, maybe you want to sell your business. And so can you create a pitch deck now that is super tight? And I guarantee you're going to see all the gaps between now and then. Every single gap is going to show up between now and then, of you trying to fulfill what that looks like. Okay, let's have a little bit of open conversation here. And then I'll continue with some of the topic. Questions of what I've mentioned so far?
I just said in the chat, if you're boring, be incredibly concise. It's almost shocking. So in like a health, like if you're a personal trainer or nutritionist, like you will die in misery. And like, what? You're like, okay, now I have your attention.
Yeah, totally.
You gotta be careful with that though, man. Just do it while they're reaching for
Hey,
another glass.
I'm a property manager. I don't know what you deal with. It's just an idea.
Okay, so be prepared. Don't fake it. Practice it on friends and family. Your elevator pitch is the place to start. Make sure you guys are working on your elevator pitch over this next long weekend. Just work on it. You know what? One of the problems I see is this. One of the things that frustrates people is this. One of the major issues that's going on right now is this. There's your problem line. We solve this problem by, the thing that I do is, this is where my company steps in and, like, whatever that line looks like. What makes us unique, I mean, sure, everyone will be like, great, man. So, you do that. What makes you unique, right? Perry mentioned Japanese denim. Okay, that's a unique differentiator. Right. Proof of concept. Do not BS. Proof of concept. I had a call with a guy in the States. His question to me was a few different things. We were seeing if there was a good engagement level there. It worked out. He was like, what's your proof of concept with a company over $10 million? Straight question. I told him. It's like, but don't ever lie about it. It's super important. Like your proof of concept can be small and you can pivot it. You can say, you know what? I would love to work with a company of that size. I haven't done that yet because what I'm doing is this and this and this at a smaller scale. And one of the benefits that gives me is that I get really detail oriented and way more integrated with those businesses. You can make your, whatever that gap is, correct if it gets tested against. So, okay, let's go to this guy. It said marketing guru. I mean, Sometimes I laugh when I see guru, but anyways, we'll continue with it. Who wants to hit that that quote?
I'll jump in.
Yeah, go ahead. Great.
And you know what is the most often missed ingredient in a sales message? It's the sales message that doesn't tell an interesting story. Storytelling, good storytelling, is a vital component of a marketing campaign.
So I might have mentioned to you guys, what was her name again? I have her book here. Anyways, I had her book here. But she's all about storytelling in marketing. And she did a keynote presentation at a conference that I was at in Denver a few years back. And she had a company that was called, it was a bag company, and it was called Soul Carriers. And so when you looked at their website, I'm gonna stop this share here. When you looked at their website, it was like, oh, pretty cool. Like sort of had this like cute sort of like outside leather stitched or knit stitched handbags, you know, very sort of bespoke, not a lot of just mass produced type of idea, and very characterful. Had everything from more sophisticated to bohemian lines. So it was like, it was called Soul Carrier, and it was talking about this young entrepreneur who really wanted to make a difference. And so what she does is that she gives back a certain percentage of her profits to this charity that mattered. Okay. Kind of neat. Sales were not great. Required very heavily on verbal referral marketing. So she went in, did an investigation, and do you know why the founder of this business called it Soul Carrier? She was on her way to college to go into a business college degree. Her parents are driving her to college. They get hit by a car, her parents get killed. She's in the backseat. She comes out of this trauma and says, I would like to always remember my parents and what they were going to promise me by starting a business. And I'm going to call it Soul Carrier. Nowhere did it say this in any of her marketing and messages. So they brought it up. Sales went through the roof. They had a video, told her story, the whole thing. Now when you think, oh, a handbag called Soul Carrier, oh, hang on a second. Hits hard, right? Very, very different story. So you all have a story. Is it maybe as tragic as that? Maybe not. But there's an element in there that you can really rely on to tap into what your market wants. Okay. Emotional matrix. This is something that I've come up with. I'll share with you guys the Google Doc. When you get this link, don't ask me to edit, please. Just copy it into your, like file and make a copy. Okay. If you can't do it, let me know. But this is fundamentally what it kind of looks like. And I'm going to explain it to you. And then I'll share that page afterwards. In it, on the top, you've got your market or your client. Like your market might be homeowners. Your market might be commercial property owners. Your market might be runners. Your market might be gamers. Like whatever your market is, it could be a market segment or it could be a specific client. So that gets written down top. Then you write down your product name. So what product is it? And then you go down, you list, this is the pain point this customer feels, pain point number 2, pain point number 3, pain point number 4. Then you write down your features, and then you write down the value impact. That is part 1. After that, we write down the emotion generated. So I'm going to show you what this looks like on the actual sheet. Okay, so make a copy. Please don't ask for permission. I see a bunch of you on there already. It's great. Okay, so let's say that the market client is, who wants to use their business as an example?
Me?
Who's that?
Oh.
Keaton?
Yeah.
Keaton? Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay, so who is your market? Who's your client?
Who is my market? Real estate owner.
Okay. So your market is real estate owner. It's a little vague. Is this a commercial or residential?
Residential in Metro Vancouver.
Okay. Residential real estate owner. What is your first product?
Leasing the property.
Property leasing. Okay. What is a pain point that your customer feels?
No time.
Okay, what else?
Limited knowledge.
Okay, what else?
No systems.
Okay, what else? That's not a pain point.
Anxiety.
That'd be an emotion.
Okay, sure. Not here.
Okay, right. So not in the city. Okay. Somewhere else. Right. So out of touch.
Yeah.
Let's write that. Out of touch. It's a little bit more impact. Away. Okay. Okay, let's go with 3. If you can think of a 4th one.
It's just like, I mean, large financial obligations, but kind of.
Okay, so financial worries, financial concerns.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the feature of your product?
Let's say reliable.
Expand a little bit.
It's going to happen.
Okay. So it's reliable. Okay. What else is a feature of your product?
I guess systemized or fast or yeah.
System. We were having a debate, Duncan. We were having a debate, members. Is it systemized or systematized? Okay, yeah. So I'll write systematized. We're gonna roll with that one. Okay. What else is a feature?
I guess.
Is it transparent?
Okay. Yep. I was just about to say that.
Okay.
And I mean, like price for value, so it's priced appropriately or valued, I guess.
Okay. So value driven or cost. Okay. What's the value impact to your residential real estate owner?
They're going to get recurring revenue they can rely on. So, a fully screened tenant or properly recurring revenue. They're going to have like documentation that will protect them. So just like protection.
Okay.
And they're also going to have us to, reach back out to. So like ongoing support if they need to.
And they will have great tenants, right?
Yeah, they're actually going to get their rent is the main
Oh,
thing.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. You know what? Actually, I'm going to go with Louis. Louis is there. Yeah. Great tenants. Okay. What's the emotion when they feel they have no time? And feel free for other people to jump in here as well on this.
One is just going to be like they're either pretty stressed out about it or they just know they have no time. So there's no really emotion around it. So it's like if they're going to have an emotion, it's anxiety.
Anxiety. Okay. Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Anxiety. Limited knowledge.
Anxiety or fear.
Okay.
Fear.
Let's try to expand it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fear.
Frustration.
Okay. Yep. Fear,
Yeah,
frustration.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Out of touch. They're away.
There's a bit of like out of control or helplessness or
Yeah, helplessness is a great one. Helplessness. Control. Okay. Lack of control is almost a pain point, but financial concern.
In some scenarios, I'd also say like shame, depending on the market and stuff, which is
Shame. Great.
pretty powerful too.
What emotion does reliable provide?
Calm.
Okay. What about systematized?
That would be more like, because like they're getting really valuable communications on a regular basis, so it's almost like, they're generating a bit of like happiness or like motivation or like, there's something rolling. So
Good. Transparent.
Confidence could be a good one for that.
For transparent?
Confidence. Yeah.
Confidence. For systematized?
Yeah.
Okay, confidence, yeah.
Yeah.
Transparent.
Like peace of mind.
Peace of mind, yeah. Someone else said something in there too.
I said relieved, like maybe they feel relieved, they can trust.
Yeah, great. Okay. Value driven for cost.
Like they feel smart or
Yeah, great.
wealthier or something. Yeah.
Okay. How do they feel when they have recurring revenue?
Pretty good.
Happy?
Yeah.
Okay. When they feel protected.
Safe.
What's that?
Safe.
Yeah.
Safe,
Secure,
yeah.
safe, yeah.
Good,
And
yeah.
when they have great tenants.
We get a lot of random emails from like clients who've rented it out and then we don't manage it, and they almost, when they email us about something else, they almost like brag. Like, oh my God, our tenants are so awesome.
So pride.
Confident.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's your emotional matrix for this. If you go, hey, Keaton, tell me about your business. I'm going to riff this one, okay? So Keaton, tell me about your business. Well, you know what? One of the things that people suffer from is this anxiety of not having enough time to manage their properties. And so what we do is we create these very reliable, systematized processes that help them feel calm and confident. And what we found is that out of the last 5 homeowners that we've onboarded, not only did they have recurring revenue that made them feel happy, but they had great tenants and they can't stop talking about them.
Yeah, that's
That's
pretty
a
cool.
story. All you do is you just plinko the matrix. You just plinko the matrix. You go, boom, 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 boom. You tell the story as it goes down. Now, if you had multiple products, you go property leasing here, next product here, next product here. So you go product 2 over here. You go product 3 over here. And you just run down the gamut because all of your products might produce different features, different outputs. Then where do you do it? Do you do it verbally? Do you do it on a sell sheet? Do you update your website page? Do you put it into a social media post? Or, like whatever mechanism you think where your audience is sitting, that they would feel like that would be a good thing to do. That's how you work it. Massively powerful, way better storytelling. Now, here's the thing. I talked about this in our leadership psychology thing. Go do this. Don't show up to the gym and watch someone else do 20 push-ups. Grab the sheet and populate it. Because you're not going to get any gains by watching someone else do 20 push-ups. You can be like, I went to the gym. What'd you do? I watched someone else do 20 push-ups. Okay. Doing it is the exercise. You saw how that was like navigating a little bit, figuring it out. You guys had really good input. And then you're going to sort of refine. And it's going to get stronger and stronger downstream. Now, I've extended the time on this meeting. So if some of you are able to stay, because we're going to kind of do a little bit of a mix on here. If you can't, then I get it. But I have extended the time on these to run a 90-minute cycle as long as there's more to talk about. We stop when there's not enough to talk about. But So go grab the sheet. You saw that value right out of the gate, right?
I was gonna say send me an invoice, and I was like, oh, you already do. So
So that is the emotional matrix. Okay. That's just something that it just works. That's something I created, so you won't see it anywhere else. And so just to be clear on that. What if you guys have time? What I want to do is drop you guys into a couple of breakout rooms
Edwin, I have a
Yeah, go
small
ahead.
question. So, for example, this emotional matrix is just to promote one of your services is different from elevator speech, right?
Yeah, but they're tied together. I use the
Yeah.
elevator pitch with the emotional matrix. If I was,
Okay.
say, doing a product launch, could I do the same thing? Yes. If I was training my sales team when they're going around and knocking on doors, because I'm at house A, and they're going to go knock on 5 houses to the right, 5 houses to the left, they could have this ready, but do they give them a sheet that kind of targets some of this? Maybe. Or they were like, hey, we're in the neighborhood, we're doing a feature for the neighborhood, et cetera, et cetera. And they're like, yeah, tell me a little bit more about what you guys do. We paint houses. No. We do interior painting. No. What do you guys do? Well, like your neighbor, Sam, he was really concerned with the fact that his house was looking very aged inside, and he's getting older, he's retired, and so he's not able to find the time or the energy to do his interior painting. So one of the things we do is we have this young, robust crew. We show up, we gave him a lot of peace of mind. It's going to look like how he wants. He spends more time at home, not less. And so he's going to feel refreshed with a refreshed house. It's like, that's way better than telling someone you're painting Sam's interior. Right? So where do you use it? Yeah, multiple locations, multiple places. Yeah, 100%, Duncan. Yeah. Running through that will be huge. Ty, this is something you and I are on target for as well. So it's like really, really powerful to get in here. Okay, so before we get to this next thing, and remember, we move fast in these sessions, so I think that's fine. That's not the right one. Okay, yeah, so opening questions. Hang on. Before that, let me tell you about the update. So I want to move these a bit further into the timeline. For those, the first hour will be the meat, but for those who want to do a little bit of extra work, 90 minutes, I think, for some deeper dives will be very, very powerful. I rebranded to Entrepreneur Mastermind. You guys know that. The Mastermind community is on WhatsApp. And then I've got the school platform as well. So the school platform is going to get updated consistently. There'll be massive amounts of free UTD content on there. And then for those who are like paying clients, there's going to be a whole other set of tools on the other side as well. But some of the basic things that I was normally blogging about, those are going to kind of go up in that area. The Entrepreneurs Elite Boardroom, that'll be coming downstream. That's going to require a certain tier of it's not cheap, so it'll be a certain tier. It'll be effectively once every 2 months. There'll be a full day with a bunch of other executives in the same space. And then Simone and I'll be at the Vault conference as well. So everything I learned there, you guys are going to benefit from at the same time. So that's a little bit about that. Okay, so let's come back to this bad boy, plus some of the other stuff that we talked about. Let's open up the room to some discussion. Go ahead.
I just dumped one in there as an example, and I wanted some feedback from the group. It's a screenshot in the chat.
Yeah, fabulous. Here,
that's my viewpoint of a customer, but I'm wondering, like,
I'm going to share this
perspective.
Okay, let me move this over to my bigger screen. Okay, so you got residential home builders. Your product is mechanical contracting. Okay.
So that'd be plumbing, that'd be HVAC, air conditioning, ventilation, natural gas, pretty much everything apart from electrical.
Right. So let's
Pain
open it
point
up.
one being like from the customer's perspective, we'd usually be working under a general contractor or a builder. And, you know, we hear a lot of complaints of their plumbing and their HVAC guys not being reliable. So the emotion would be that they're frustrated by that. Pain point two would be the run-of-the-mill average quality. It's kind of hacked in there. The feeling they're left with is underwhelmed, worried about the end user's perceptions since they're a middle person to the homeowner at the end. Pain point three would be that they're difficult to work with. The emotion generated typically is anger and frustration. Pain point four is it's a long drawn out process, and the emotion generated by the end user being the builder is that they're anxious to get on with the work. Feature one would be we're consistently reliable and we keep the schedule. That keeps people pleased and happy. They don't have to worry about us. They can move on to the other sub trade they're chasing. Feature two would be very high quality, integrity behind all of our installs. They're impressed and then relieved at the same time that they don't have to go back and check through everything.
Define integrity behind installs.
Well, they know that we're going to stand behind it. So if we have our internal process where we're going to catch mistakes before they close the walls, that they can feel like relieved that they don't have to worry about what's in there later.
Gotcha. Because you've got photographs and all sorts of other stuff.
Yep. And
Okay.
we have a checklist and we can prove that. So we have something backing it.
Fantastic.
And then collaborative, that just leaves everyone feeling happy because everyone's on the same page and aware. Wasn't sure if I should say happy. That's kind of an overused word in this case. There's probably more to it, and that's where I was looking for some insight. Enduring and persistent.
Maybe included for
Yeah.
collaborative, like they
Yeah.
feel included and valued.
For sure. Awesome. And then for the value impact, one, it's reliable systems. People feel safe. They know that their gas installation isn't going to burn their house down and they're not going to be poisoned. Value two, best in class products. They're proud to have those in their home, and it adds value to the home. And then like actual value if they're reselling their house later. Value impact three would be the smooth process and they're feeling delighted by that and taken care of.
I would add somewhere in there like smart, because people like, if I'm going to go out and spend $15,000 to get a split unit installed in my house or whatever, and it gets done properly, it's always like, oh yeah, I got this guy or these people that come in and take care of this stuff, and they promote that, and it's like, I'm smart because I figured this out. And we get a lot of that from vendors and clients and stuff. So that might be a thing.
Yeah, that's cool. Thank you.
As a home builder, for us anyways, that would be like one thing would be a big driver, right? Like we want trusted, knowledgeable sub trades that are when we need to get clarity on something that's more technical or need guidance in an area on the plumbing, like we need to be able to collaborate with that trade and know that we can trust them. Like they know what they're talking about. They're super knowledgeable, super experienced. And we can like feel confident knowing like, hey, these guys got us, right? Like we don't need to know everything. We've got a million things to deal with when we're building homes. Like the last thing we want to be doing is babysitting every sub trade because they don't know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So trusted.
Trusted.
Confidence and trust is like what we want to build relationships with guys where like Paris Mechanical, if we could afford you, where we just know like, hey, these guys we're gonna meet with them at the start of the job, go over a schedule, they're gonna deliver, no issues, they've got their systems, hammer the systems too, right? Like integrity. For a home builder, we want to know, like, I'm a systems driven guy. If you're going against companies that are system driven and like all about like making sure there's that level of detail, then you want to highlight that, right?
Yeah. Really good. Great. And so then the goal is like, where does this live? Now we know based off of what we've been talking about, customers are driven by emotion before information. How much? So let's just use Duncan's layout here as an example. In your descriptor, Have you been trying to sell column number 1 versus
Yeah,
column number 2?
I mean, trying to do the value impact probably first and foremost, highlighting that people can feel happy with the process and safe behind the work and satisfied with the high quality, but maybe not focusing on, because that would almost be like, hey, our competitors are not reliable. We just don't really shine light on that.
Mhm.
But I see what you're saying. I think just promoting that we are reliable can be schedules. Like, for instance, we just revamped our website. And that's a big thing, is that we understand the schedules are the most important part for our end user, which is a general contractor or builder or developer. And
Yeah.
that is at our, forefront of focus.
Completely. And when you break it down, like the customer feels a certain way. If you don't meet them at their pain point first, what happens? This
Do
is an open
something
question.
they don't want or that doesn't matter to them.
But they also feel like you don't understand them.
Mm.
So you haven't exhibited any empathy. Right? So there's a really great piece in Sabri Subi's book. He says, sell like a doctor. So you don't walk into the doctor and they go, hey, you're looking a little bit pale. Let me give you some antibiotics.
Yeah. They'll diagnose first.
Yeah, it's like, no, you ask
Investigate,
questions.
diagnose, prescribe.
Correct. So you got to ask questions, but if you can meet the customer where it's at, that customer is going to feel like you're connected. So don't jump to, in that first image that I gave you guys, right to the end state. You got to get them to your initial call to action. What's your initial CTA? And that's really, really fundamental. Now, they will not do that if they don't feel like you understand where they are emotionally, or they don't feel emotionally connected with your product and service.
I think that's another way you can use this matrix too, because if you're in a conversation with someone and you're uncovering their pain points, now you have your pain points clearly documented and the emotions associated. Now you can have an even more impactful conversation of how you're going to solve the pain point.
100%. And
I would.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I would, you work with how many residential home builders, right? You take a construction manager or project manager at the end of a project and roll this out just like Edwin did with them or with us, right? And literally get the data. Do it with 5, 6 home builders. Now all of a sudden you're getting the actual, like what their frustrations are, right? Like get it from their perspective, right? How long is it going to take? 15 minutes?
Actually, it's a great point. Like Edwin and our team developed we call it a phase completion meeting, and it happens at the end of right entering into drywall. So the building's getting closed up, and then again revisiting the end of the job. Hey, how did this close out? What was your experience? Can you answer these 5 questions about us to see where we can improve? Like an NPS score, but for an outbound, contractor.
And it was a proactive approach, right? So that was proactive. So
we're not waiting to hear the feedback. We're asking for the feedback so that we can approach it differently on the next project.
Yeah, really good.
Thank you guys for the feedback.
Mo, you're kind of jumping in here.
I'm just soaking up all the information. I can relate to a lot of the problems that Duncan addressed, as we have kind of similar client profile, but I've just been soaking in the flow of the meeting. And
yeah, great. Every meeting is totally different, by the way.
Okay.
Like every mastermind has a totally different topic behind it. So
yeah, I was gonna say I'm definitely a big fan of the emotional there's a method that I brought back from the product world called Elmer, which is you lead with emotion and then logic, and then you give a motivation and then a reward at the end. So the leading with emotion to all clients is exactly what's going to get them to act. That's the first thing that's going to come to mind. And if you jump to logic right away, it's in most cases very boring and won't register in the brain. So I like this exercise. I actually started doing it for my own business
awesome.
as well.
Yeah, I love that you guys jumped right at it. Now here's another thing though, right? So when we are looking at sales conversion, So let's just take a quick look at this. When we're looking at sales conversion, so we've got audience, we've successfully hooked them. So let's make this green. Okay. They've done the call to action, check. We're now in sales conversion. If we've done their emotional matrix effectively, we're going to be able to deal with objection way easier. Way easier. If you get to sales conversion and you haven't done the emotional matrix prior to reaching there, you're going to be lost with objection. And I guarantee you, your objection will be price point. But what ends up happening is you say, okay, well, your original condition was this, right? So if we moved ahead with this, would this solve that problem? So, et cetera, et cetera. You move through your sales conversion script or your sales conversion process, whatever that looks like. So let's put the money aside. Is that like you would be willing to move ahead with this if money was not a factor at this point? And so are you wanting to delay the peace of mind that would come with having your property managed this way and the safety and security? Are you okay with sort of living in that state right now of not having enough time, being out of touch because the money's not present for you? Like, man, that's an immediate turn. It's like, oh yeah, you know what? No, it's fine. Right? Like your ability to get the conversion is going to go up.
I don't know how this applies to other people, but we always get people calling, like reaching out to us, filling out our assessment or booking a call, and they talk to me. And they're like, hey, like, this all looks great, but like, I got a guy who will do it for 8% and we charge 10.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just say, well, why are you calling us? And they pause and I say, I know why you're calling us. I'm asking you if you know why you're calling us. And they just like fall apart and it's over, right? So yeah, but right to the point, it's like, I know why you're scared of dealing with this person because they're all over the place and what the fuck they're talking about. And I'm just, sitting here telling you how it goes, right? So
yeah, so wherever that lives for your sales conversion, and for you, that tonality works really well for your target audience because your target audience is all over the place. And so when you come across and you're very sort of like direct and clear as sort of the default, what ends up happening is that they feel like, oh, he's exhibiting the thing that I want to do in my moment with my tenants, but I don't have the ability to do that. So, not only are you showing high levels of skill acumen in your sales conversion conversation, but you're also displaying the ability to have hard conversations with a tenant if they're not acting properly. So what is that for you, right? And so it'll be different based off of exactly what that is. Now, once you get the conversion, I'm jumping off script here now, the operations piece, for those of us who have really heavy engagements, we know that this is like the thing, right? Like, so there's a high level of operational infrastructure that needs to go in so that the client experience moves through your operations so that they can experience fulfillment. And so what does that look like? And then your sales transfer is a fulfillment, right? So fulfillment is them actually engaging with your product. So for some of us, the engagement is a short cycle. For some, it's a long cycle. So you need to know what that cycle looks like. Now, if you're creating, like if you got Mo's problem, where it's a good problem to have, you're having fail points happen here. Let's go blue. So Mo, you've got a fail point happening here and maybe a capacity issue happening here. Then you start solving those issues, right? But you want to throttle on, throttle off your marketing, coming back to the storytelling relative so that by the time this comes back to this, you have high proof of concept. And now you've got a functional operational business. All right, let's continue some open conversation. Discussion points. Make it personal. Talk about your business.
I'm gonna jump in a little bit
Yeah.
here to where you mentioned the transition is happening right now. The problem we're experiencing is that our sales and marketing kind of worked and accelerated, and we don't have that middle piece, the operations piece. So it goes directly from sales to fulfillment, and fulfillment is being done by like more or less by the same salespeople. So now the issue that I'm seeing, if we continue that way, the salespeople have to stop their sales activities and move on to fulfillment. And then once fulfillment is done, and you can't even keep up with fulfillment because sales, some marketing is still bringing in clients, and now we're risking quality. And yeah, so it's how do we focus on filling that middle piece without sacrificing fulfillment quality at the moment is the main issue.
Yeah, for sure. So, who said they were going to the P&E when we first jumped on the call? There was someone who said they were going to the P&E when they first jumped on the call. Anyway, I think they left because they had to go. Okay, but someone. No, that was in a morning meeting. That was a morning meeting with a client. One person on the team said they're going to the P&E. So, Mo, I use a lot of metaphors. This would almost be like the ride operator hopping onto the Ferris wheel. As the customer got into the cabin, they got onto the cabin as well. And they can't stop the ride or let anyone on or off until it goes around full circle and they're at the bottom again. Would that be a good metaphor?
100%. And sometimes I refer to it as like flying the plane, building the plane while flying it, and you can't continue building. The plane will crash if you try to build it. But yes, the ride, exactly that.
Okay.
And it's the ride is not stopping. That's the problem now. The ride is not reaching the end. It's just continuing.
Yeah, so there's a client that I've got where what I had him doing, he's a smaller group right now and he's growing, is I had him track very specifically this $1 metric, which was how many dollars against a fixed price across all of his projects. So, his projects tend to run over multiple cycles. I'm like, just track how many dollars against the fixed price total. Like, monitor that number. Because if you end up with only, say, 20% remaining in majority of your projects, it means your sales cycle in 3 months is going to be empty. Because he has the fulfillment plus sales problem as well. And so what happens is that we've created an internal trigger where if at any point in time, the majority of his average of payments have come in, he knows that he has to have sales occurring downstream. It's just a really abstract way of thinking about, do I need to be on the box or do I need to be selling, when you're kind of constrained by the fact that you might not have the ability to do both right now. So you could very easily use that kind of model and go, we've got a fixed price project. Let's say it's $100,000 and I've got 5 of those. Okay, so I've got $500,000 worth of business. And currently my average has tipped over the $250,000 of scheduled payouts. So now I'm at $280,000 of scheduled payouts. I need to sell $30,000 as a forecast somewhere downstream. Otherwise, I know my fulfillment will drop further down the line. Really, really simple metric. Just an oddball way of kind of looking at it.
And like in a project-based business like that, like your marketing should be looking for clients who are ready to go when you're ready to go. Because if your crew is not available or whatever, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, but that's just impossible. It's really hard to do that with long phase stuff, right? Because also there's like your lead time is sometimes really interesting because it's restoration.
Yeah, so we have two kinds of problems at hand. We have those large projects that you're talking about that last a month plus, and they're easy to kind of they give you the predictability, how many people you need to hire. But we have a lot of work orders, we call them. They're between 5,000 to 20,000. They're like a couple days a few days of work. And those are the ones we can't predict. And what happens once we sell a client on the ability and we build that reputation, then they start just giving us work every, like almost as much as they have, right? So those ones, we don't have to do further sales, but we keep on getting those work orders and they're unpredictable.
Right.
And
So you have
they
two
happen to
pillars.
this, yeah.
So you have two pillars. So you've got your long-term fixed price projects, and then you've got your high rotation, quick call service type work as well.
Correct.
So you got to treat those differently.
Yeah.
If you're treating them under the same umbrella internally, it's going to be a problem. So you got to figure out how to
yeah. Right now the crews are all over the place. Some crews have to be like pulled into one project and another. It's just it's an operational chaos.
Yeah.
So you're an ambulance, you're a property ambulance. Like it's just you're a paramedic, right?
Yeah, you guys should definitely have conversations, Duncan, Ty.
Because we have a service division, a new construction that does multifamily and high-end luxury homes, totally different market sectors, and having the three totally different sales approaches. So I just chose an example to do the high-end custom homes because I know the client mindset a bit better versus a developer or someone that's funding a big scale, fast moving project. They're not going to necessarily care about the same things. They want the project done, meeting timelines and their set schedules. Whereas the expectation of a human is a lot, like, I shouldn't say that, but you know what I mean? Like, it's just a lot more, you're selling to an end homeowner, which is a lot easier to get in the same mindset of. And then if you're doing service, that's like so we do home service, like changing someone's toilet or a hot water tank. And again, I have to shift that completely. All of those things that are emotionally generated are different. And so I almost like silo them into three categories, and it's been really fun and interesting, but you have to like take off one hat and put on another. And I'd love to chat with you, Mo.
So let's come back to the beginning. Let's come back to the idea of like focus on the story as a component. We have operational things, we have sales conversion things, we have fulfillment needs, et cetera, et cetera. Come back to the story. Let's do some key takeaways. So we got a little bit of time left here. Lucian, I'll call on you first. You're brand new into the entrepreneurial world here.
I think my takeaway today was like the be yourself when you're kind of telling your story, and then even after you're done the story and you're just talking about your business in like a more business stuff, not just business story stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, good. Christy, you want to jump in?
I had a similar takeaway, where like even if I come up with the rehearsal in my head, I would like go over it way too much and lose confidence and like don't sound like myself. So I think having more confidence, just kind of not having as much rehearsal might be good. Yeah.
Yeah, great. Perfect. Ashwan.
It's so interesting to see all those perspective. It's like I always wonder like what's going on in someone's mind, especially running a business. And those guys do like put so much information out there. And thank you so much. Even that emotional matrix, it's so interesting where even like just telling a random story, I think we went through that a little bit, just like the emotion, like how someone's like so excited to tell you a story, the pupils are dilated, they're like interesting now, you got the person hooked up and things like that. It makes complete sense, but having that down a matrix definitely help. And I'm trying to figure out where I'm gonna work with it.
Yeah, fantastic.
Thank you.
Avril.
Hi, yeah, thank you. My biggest takeaway today was I think, we go from like point A to point Z right away, and we kind of forget that like that call to action, that like touch point, that like you said, that like clicking on the link. And I think that's really important. I think sometimes in marketing, we want to be so like, yes, we want it to be perfect and all that, but we also have to remember that it's like a building steps and building blocks of like getting our audience to where we want them to be, instead of like just going from that point A to like point, Z. And then just like storytelling, I'm really big on storytelling personally with my brand and my marketing. So I think you definitely nailed that. So that was my takeaway today.
Yeah, solid. Ty?
Sorry, technical difficulties there.
Sorry.
Yeah, I think just more so, we did this months ago, and obviously I'm working on a lot of things, but just on an overall, just really being prepared with like I struggled with this pitch when we did it months ago, and I didn't revisit it at all. I've just been, working on so many other aspects of the business, and so just really something I know I got to dive into. We got a huge event happening next week that I'm heading out of town for with Edwin, and it just like totally brings that to light, right? Like I can't go into that without a proper pitch of like what our company, what our why is, right? So, yeah, got to get after it and be prepared. So,
Yeah, very cool. Lewis?
Oh man, I'm so excited to hear all of you guys, Duncan, Mo, Keaton, because I know you guys have a huge business and on the entrepreneur perspective, because I am a salesman. I am not a painter, I am a salesman. So that elevator pitch, that how to connect emotionally with your client to generate that lasting value impact. Is what I am working in my company because I always want to do that one plus that means the wow factor at the end of the job, doing something extra that is not in the quote just for them just to see how these guys see further. And then ask the Google review and see that they notice those details is helping me to get, because that lasting value impact is going to give me more referral in the future for that particular client.
100%, man. If your guys' sales goes up after this, phenomenal, right? Like if your ability to get through the call of action to a sale, right? Then you guys start working your sales conversion. But if the number of people that want to come into there goes up, phenomenal. Oh, hang on. People just moved on. Ashley, sorry, it jumped you over. Ashley, take away.
I have a few, but I would say probably the biggest one is I've worked really hard to simplify explaining what I do so that it's easy to understand and then connect if it's a need, want, desire, and kind of start the conversation. But I think I've oversimplified to the point that I've removed the emotion from it, my story a little bit from it. So I'm going to work on weaving that back in and keeping the simplification that I worked on, but weaving in the emotion to really connect better to my clients.
Phenomenal. Really, really great. Mo, take away.
Honestly, it's that chart at the beginning of like going from marketing to fulfillment, just revalidates the need of operations in the middle. And also, it's good to hear other people's train of thoughts when dealing with similar and other problems that I know that we have as well, just not as a priority right now.
Yeah, fantastic. And Keaton?
Well, I've had the company for like 7.5 years, and the whole point of it was like a lot of emotional, management, like just helping people solve a lot of their emotional problems when it comes to real estate because of everybody like I've run into. But I've never like mapped that out. And so like doing that exercise with you and for everybody, I was like, oh, like we're doing what I wanted to do. So that's really great.
Great. Duncan?
Yeah, I think a mindset shift from a seller focus to a buyer focus was something that came to mind. Just allowing to put myself in their shoes more, depending on the buyer. But not trying to sell. Come at it from it. Would I buy that, right? For that reason, and then using your head and your heart. You can be a technical salesperson all you want. That's boring, as you mentioned. So using your heart and how it impacts the person and the end user, and just showing empathy towards yourself.
Yeah, fantastic. Did I miss anyone for takeaways? I think I got everybody. Simone? Yes. You thought I was going to miss you. So take away.
I actually quite liked going over the elevator pitch again. I totally forgot about that we did that in the workshop. But the emotional matrix and kind of using Keaton as the example as well as Duncan hopping in there, I found that very useful because it's useful to kind of go over it with
Like a live
someone
case
else.
study. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. So thank you guys.
Fantastic. All right. really, really great. Ty and I are going to come back, and Simona and I are going to come back from this conference, and we're going to be on a whole other level. So we will send out nets to capture you and help carry some of that velocity that I'm positive we're going to be feeling. We'll see you guys next month. Now, get onto that school platform. I want to build out that community. These kind of conversations can happen in there. The link is in the link. Our WhatsApp chat also for easy discussion. So between all of those different sort of areas for us to be able to connect, one of my goals is to have you guys network, but not be a networking group. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's just fucking make each other great entrepreneurs. I think that's what we're going for. So, as always, I'll upload this later. It'll go up onto YouTube, and I'm going to push it onto the school platform, and then and all the masterminds are on there. So those will be open for you guys to have access to afterwards. Great.
Thank you, Edmund. Thanks,
Ciao,
everybody.
guys. Have a great weekend.
Bye, guys.